Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Please take your seats.
Good evening and welcome to the meeting of Rochester City Council. The meeting will come to order and the clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Clifford.
Here.
Councilmember Evans. Councilmember Gruber.
Here.
Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Ortiz.
Here.
Councilmember Patterson.
Here.
Councilmember Spall.
Here.
Vice President Lightfoot. President Scott.
Here. I'd like to ask council to please rise for a moment of silence. Councilmember Clifford, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now move to the retirement recognition ceremonies. Would Lisa Holiday come to the podium along with Vice President Lightfoot, Deputy Mayor Smith, and Commissioner Lyman Torres. And I'm gonna come up there too.
All right. Hey, I didn't want to interrupt. I thought that was great. Letha Holiday, or Lee Holiday, started her career with the City of Rochester as a part-time recreation assistant in February of 1986. Later that year, she was appointed to a full-time position of recreation leader in the then Parks, Recreation, and Human Services Department. During her 30-plus years of service, Lee held many positions including Community Program Planner, Senior Employment and Training Coordinator, Senior Human Services Coordinator, Area Coordinator, and most recently, Recreation Supervisor. Lee's passion for arts and culture were always on display at any site that she called home. She emphasized the importance of education and had high expectations for the thousands of youth and young adults that she has mentored throughout the years. Lee was well respected by her staff and led by example. She was obviously well respected as well by former Commissioner and now President Scott, as well as Commissioner Torres. She always referred to everyone she worked with as her team or my guys. Whether it was a comforting smile, gracious hugs, or the ever-present bag of candy, Lee had the ability to make everyone she came in contact with feel very special. Did you bring a bag of candy by any chance tonight? Well, Lee, obviously you've contributed so much to our city, and so we want to thank you for your years of service, your commitment, your professionalism and passion that you displayed representing the city of Rochester and doing what is probably one of the most important jobs any of us can do, which is mentoring and supporting our young people. Congratulations.
Lee's not going to say anything, but I'm going to say something about her, having been commissioner at the department during her tenure for the most part. And she reflects what it means to be committed to the children in our community. Oftentimes people look at recreation centers as someplace for kids to go play, but they're much, much more than that. The people there show an ownership, commitment, and concern for the young people who come to the centers that is unparalleled. It's the people there, it's the staff, it's their connection to the community, it's their display of love, commitment, and concern that makes them what they are. We're going to miss you, Lee. Next, we have the approval of the minutes by Councilmember Patterson.
Resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting on April 16th, 2019, and the special meeting on April 30th, 2019 be approved as published in the official sheets of the proceedings.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries 9-0.
The following documents are hereby directed to be received and filed. The mayor submits the following: administrative cancellation or refund of erroneous taxes, May 2019. I think that should be March.
Yep.
I'm not sure. Quarterly reports, delinquent receivables, March 31st, 2019. Quarterly reports, schedule of revenues and expenditures, March 31st, 2019. Quarterly reports, grants accounting, December 31st, 2018. Quarterly reports, MBD loans and grants, March 31st, 2019. The council submits disclosure of interest forms from Councilmember Spall on introductory number 150.
It's time for the presentation and reference of petitions and any other communications. Are there any petitions? Councilmember Patterson.
Thank you. I have 131 signatures in opposition to a rezoning of 1475 Hudson Avenue that would allow a recycling center to be placed in front of a playground.
Thank you. That petition will be received and filed. Now let's move to the reports of standing committees and actions thereon. Excuse me. Councilmember Evans, the Finance Committee report, please.
Yes, thank you, Madam President, and to my council colleagues. The Finance Committee recommends for adoption the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 125, approving the apportionment of taxes and charges. Introductory number 127, authorizing an agreement for medical services for non-uniformed employees. And introductory number 128, the cancellation of erroneous taxes and charges. Introductory number 129, authorizing a grant agreement with J.P. Morgan Chase Foundation for the Rochester Financial Empowerment Centers Initiative. Introductory number 130, authorizing an agreement with the Children's Institute, Inc. for Grow Rochester. Introductory number 131, authorizing an agreement for an economic development enhancement study. Introductory number 162, authorizing an amendatory agreement with R.K. Height and Company, Inc. related to the Uniform Relocation Act compliance services. Introductory number 163, amending the 2018-19 budget of City Council and the clerk for unanticipated revenues and to retain independent legal counsel as amended. Introductory number 164A, determining and certifying base proportions, current percentages, and base percentages for the 2019 assessment roll. And introductory number 164B, determining and certifying adjusted base proportions, assessed value, and net changes and assessed value for the 2019 assessment roll. The Finance Committee recommends for consideration the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 126, a local ordinance establishing the operating and maintenance cost of neighborhood, commercial, and residential parking areas as amended. This report was respectfully submitted by Councilmember Molly Clifford, Councilmember Michael A. Patterson, Vice President Willie J. Lightfoot, Council President Loretta C. Scott, and myself, Councilmember Malik Evans.
Thank you, Councilmember Evans. That report will be received, filed, and published, and we'll proceed with the vote. Introductory number 125, legislation approving the apportionment of taxes and charges. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 126, as amended, a local improvement ordinance for special assessment districts related to parking lots. This requires a roll call.
Councilmember Clifford?
Yes.
Councilmember Evans?
Yes.
Councilmember Gruber?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Ortiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Spall?
Yes.
Vice President Lightfoot?
Yes.
President Scott?
Yes. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 127, legislation for an agreement for medical services for non-uniformed employees. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 128, legislation for the cancellation of erroneous taxes and charges. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 129, legislation for Rochester Financial Empowerment Centers. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 130, legislation for Grow Rochester. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 131, legislation for economic development, strategic planning, support, and audit services. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Motion carries 8-1. Introductory number 162, legislation for an amendatory agreement related to the Uniform Relocation Act compliance services. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 163, as amended, a budget amendment to the council and clerk 2018-19 department budget. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 164A, legislation determining and certifying base proportions, current percentages, and base percentages for the 2019 assessment roll. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 164B, legislation determining and certifying adjusted base proportions, assessed value, and net changes in assessed value for the 2019 assessment roll. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Councilmember Patterson, the Neighborhood and Business Development Committee report, please.
To the council, the Neighborhood and Business Development Committee recommends for adoption the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 132, authorizing the sale of real estate. Introductory number 133, authorizing the sale of real estate. Introductory number 134, amending the ordinance number 2018-321 as it relates to the acquisition of real estate to effectuate the Bull's Head Urban Renewal Plan. Introductory number 135, authorizing the acquisition by negotiation or condemnation of a permanent easement over 167-183 Villa Street for a water main. Introductory number 136, authorizing grant agreement with Empire State Development for the La Marqueta Park project. The Neighborhood and Business Development Committee recommends for consideration the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 137, amending zoning map for a portion of parcel number 135.18-2-1. Introductory number 138, amending the zoning code for technical corrections to the Plan Development District number 17, Highland Hospital. This report is respectfully submitted by myself, Michael A. Patterson, Council Member Lachey D. Harris, Council Member Jacqueline Ortiz, Council Vice President Willie J. Lightfoot, and Council President Loretta C. Scott.
Thank you, Councilmember Patterson. That report will be received, filed, and published, and we'll proceed with the vote. Introductory number 132, legislation for the sale of 5 properties. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 133, legislation approving the sale of 1,000 Driving Park Avenue. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Councilmember Patterson, do you have a motion for introductory number 134?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to amend introductory number 134 in order to reflect the acquisition price.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of amending 134, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Now let's vote on introductory number 134 as amended. Legislation amending ordinance number 2018-321 regarding the Bull's Head Revitalization Project. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 135, legislation for a water line easement over 167 to 183 Villas Street. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 136, legislation for a grant agreement with Empire State Development for La Marqueta. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 137, legislation for a zoning map amendment for parcel number 135.18-2-1. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 138, legislation for a zoning technical amendment for Planned Development District number 17, Highland Hospital. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Councilmember Gruber, the Parks and Public Works Committee report, please.
To the Council, the Parks and Public Works Committee recommends for adoption the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 142, authorizing an agreement and funding for the construction of Adventure Place. Introductory number 143, bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $400,000 bonds of said city to finance the construction of Adventure Place. Introductory number 144, authorizing appropriations and agreement for the 2018 asphalt milling and resurfacing preventative maintenance Group 2 project. Introductory number 145, bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $569,000 bonds of said city to finance the 2018 asphalt milling and resurfacing preventative maintenance Group 2 project. Introductory number 146, authorizing an agreement for multi-site park improvements. Introductory number 147, authorizing an amendatory agreement with Bergman Associates, architects, engineers, landscape architects, and surveyors, DPC, regarding the Clinton and Emerson firehouses HVAC replacement. Introductory number 148, authorizing an amendatory agreement with CNS Engineers Incorporated for the Elmwood Avenue Collegetown Cycle Track project as amended. Introductory number 149, authorizing an amendatory agreement and amending ordinance number 2016-268 relating to the Mount Hope Avenue Phase 2 Improvements project. Introductory number 150, authorizing additional funding and an amendatory agreement for the Joseph A. Floriano Rochester Riverside Convention Center Terrace Repairs project. Introductory number 151, authorizing an intermunicipal agreement with the Village of Fairport for pesticide application to ash trees. Introductory number 152, authorizing a mandatory agreement with Transmap Corporation relating to a pavement management system. Introductory number 165, authorizing an amendatory agreement for a public electric scooter sharing system and amending Chapter 35 of the Municipal Code with respect to advertisements at system stations. The Parks and Public Works Committee recommends for consideration the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 139, amending the official map to dedicate additional right-of-way on West Ridge Road. Introductory number 140, authorizing pavement width changes for the McGee Avenue Rains Park Group Improvement Project. Introductory number 141, amending the official map to abandon portions of the Exchange Boulevard and East Broad Street rights-of-way that overlap with the Blue Cross Arena. And finally, introductory number 153, amending ordinance number 2019-63, relating to an official map amendment abandoning a portion of Pitkin Street. Respectfully submitted, Councilmember Malik Evans, Councilmember Elaine Spall, Council Vice President Willie Lightfoot, Council President Loretta Scott, and myself, Councilmember Mitch Gruber.
Thank you, Councilmember Gruber. That report will be received, filed, and published, and we'll proceed with the vote. Introductory number 139, legislation to to dedicate additional right-of-way on West Ridge Road. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 140, legislation for pavement width changes on the McGee Avenue Rains Park Group Improvement Project. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 141, legislation to abandon a portion of right-of-way for the Blue Cross Arena at the War Memorial expansion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 142, legislation for the construction of Adventure Place. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 143, a bond ordinance to finance the construction of Adventure Place. This requires a roll call.
Councilmember Clifford?
Yes.
Councilmember Evans?
Yes.
Councilmember Gruber?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Ortiz? Yes. Councilmember Patterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Spall?
Yes.
Vice President Lightfoot? Yes. President Scott?
Yes. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 144, legislation for the 2018 asphalt milling and resurfacing preventive maintenance group 2 projects. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 145, a bond ordinance to fund the work of the 2018 asphalt milling and resurfacing preventive maintenance group 2 project. This requires a roll call.
Councilmember Clifford?
Yes.
Councilmember Evans?
Yes.
Councilmember Gruber?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Ortiz? Yes. Councilmember Patterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Spall?
Yes.
Vice President Lightfoot? President Scott?
Yes. Introductory number 146, legislation for multi-site park improvements. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 147, legislation for the Clinton and Emerson firehouses HVAC replacements. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 148 as amended, legislation for the Elmwood Avenue College Town Cycle Track Project. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 149, legislation amending ordinance number 2016-268 relating to the Mount Hope Avenue Phase 2 improvement projects. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 150, legislation for an amendatory agreement relating to the terrace repairs at the Convention Center. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. President Scott, I need to abstain.
Motion carries 8-0-1. Introductory number 151, an intermunicipal agreement with the Village of Fairport for ash tree pesticide application treatment services. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 152, legislation for an amendatory agreement with Transmap Corporation for a pavement management system. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 153, legislation amending ordinance number 2019-63 relating to the abandonment of a portion of Pickens Street. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 165, legislation for an amendatory agreement with Zaxter for a public electric scooter sharing program system. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Vice President Lightfoot, the Public Safety, Youth, and Recreation Committee report, please.
Thank you, Madam President. To the Council, the Public Safety, Youth, and Recreation Committee recommends for adoption the following entitled legislation. Introductory number 154, amending the municipal code with regard to animal services. Introductory number 155, appropriating federal forfeiture funds and amending the 2018-19 budget to support an anti-gun violence campaign. Introductory number 156, appropriating federal forfeiture funds and amending the 2018-19 budget to purchase a K-9 unit dog. Introductory number 157, authorizing an agreement with Monroe County for the receipt and use of tobacco sales compliance grant. Introductory number 158, authorizing the professional service agreement for hockey referees. Introductory number 159, authorizing agreement for mural art at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Park. Introductory number 160, authorizing agreements for the 2019 Summer of Opportunity Program. The following title legislation is being held. Introductory number 161, accepting a donation and amending the 2018-19 budget for Norton Village Playground improvements. This was respectively submitted by Councilmember Mitch Gruber, Councilmember LaShaye Harris, Councilmember Jacqueline Ortiz, myself, Vice President Willie Lightfoot, and President Loretta C. Scott.
Thank you, Vice President Lightfoot. That report will be received, filed, and published, and we'll proceed with the vote. Introductory number 154, legislation amending the municipal code with regard to animal services. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 155, legislation for the anti-gun violence campaign. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 156, legislation for the purchase of a K-9 dog with federal forfeiture funds. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 157, an intermunicipal agreement with Monroe County for the tobacco sales compliance grant. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 158, legislation for an agreement for hockey referees. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 159, legislation for an agreement for mural art at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Park. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Introductory number 160, legislation for the 2019 Summer of Opportunity Program. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Before I give the report of the Committee of the Whole, I'd like to make a statement in that regard. Today is a momentous day, and one that I'll remember as significant highlights in my tenure both as president of the Rochester City Council, but in my career in public service, which spans a much longer time. Today, we passed legislation that establishes a transparent, independent, and community-supported police accountability board. We began this work on the legislation that's before us 2 years ago, but we began the work on this issue more than 50 years ago. In 1963, the City of Rochester, through action of this very body, established a police advisory board. This was the first time a civilian-led body would be given the opportunity to review allegations of police misconduct. Racial tensions in our city were at a boiling point, and citizen groups demanded action. The establishment of the Police Advisory Board aimed to improve police and community relations and to provide the people of this city justice where they felt they had none. The City of Rochester has tried for 50 long years to get it right. We tried a police advisory board that was embroiled in legal battles and written out of the budget. We tried a complaint investigation committee that lacked independence and teeth. We tried a civilian review board that lacked community confidence. But that changes today. Because today, we offer a police accountability board that upholds the 5 pillars that have been called for by the community: independence, subpoena power, investigatory power, disciplinary power, and the power to review, evaluate, and recommend systemic changes. It's taken us 2 years to get this legislation where it is today, 50 years to get a council that was ready to pass it. But we said we would take our time and work diligently and get it right. We owed it to this community to get it right, because for 50 years, the concerns of the community have been the same. The goals of police oversight have been the same. It's taken 50 years, but today I believe we got it right. But it's not up to us alone to decide. This legislation will go before the people of this community for a referendum vote this November. The people of this community will make that decision, and I'm hopeful that they will join us in supporting this historic legislation. I want to thank my colleagues on council, both current and past, who've worked so hard on this. I want to thank the mayor and her team for their thoughtful dialogue and partnership. I even want to acknowledge the Rochester Police Locust Club for their feedback and participation, and especially the community, UCLM, PABA, the NYCLU, and citizens of all stripes who shared their thoughts and experiences. I'm honored to vote to pass this legislation today. Thank you. Councilmember Patterson.
Thank you, President Scott. This is a momentous day, and I will be voting in favor of this local law as amended. Among us today is a gentleman who suffered what I would characterize as police brutality, and his name is Christopher Pate. He was brutalized on body-worn camera, and I wept at what I saw. How anyone could fail to see his humanity and respect his rights is beyond me. The notion that someone would do this in an RPD uniform is beyond me. Real police accountability starts with the passage of this legislation. But let's not be fooled. This is the beginning of the middle of this struggle, not the end.
Mm-hmm. Are there additional comments? There being none, thank you. I now will give the report of the Committee of the Whole. The Committee of the Whole recommends for consideration the following entitled legislation, introductory number 45A as amended, amending the city charter with respect to establishing the Rochester Police Accountability Board. This report is respectfully submitted by council members Molly Clifford, Malik D. Evans, Mitch Gruber, Lachey D. Harris, Jacqueline Ortiz, Michael A. Patterson, Elaine M. Spall, Vice President Willie J. Lightfoot, and myself, Council President Loretta C. Scott. The report will be received, filed, and published. There is an additional amendment that I would like to offer on this legislation. The amendment will add the words local law to the title of the legislation. Is there a second? All those in favor of amending the legislation, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries 9-0. Now let's vote on introductory number 45A, a local law amending the city charter with respect to establishing the Rochester Police Accountability Board. This requires a roll call.
Councilmember Clifford?
Yes.
Councilmember Evans?
Yes.
Councilmember Gruber?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Ortiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Patterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Spall?
Yes.
Vice President Lightfoot?
Yes, ma'am.
President Scott?
Yes. Motion carries. Is there any miscellaneous business to come before the City Council? There being none, this meeting is adjourned. And away we go.
Thank you.